In India, and I found myself asking many of the keepers at Ventara about this, every single being, animal being, I believe this is a Hindi cultural thing to do with the gods, and please correct me if I'm wrong, every single animal not only has a right to be here, but we as humans, I believe in Indian culture, are servants to them. And correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm sure I'm messing it up a little bit, but basically the modality at Ventara, the way that they operate is that they're there to serve, to try and keep everything alive. So it's not just conservation or animal activism, it's everything all tied together. And that was sort of dictated to me through this spirituality of every single creature has a right to be here, and it's our duty as human beings to make their lives as comfortable as possible, which I found really fascinating because it goes against traditional conservation.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard of like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata.
I'm just starting to learn and understand. I mean, not understand, but I'm just scratching the surface.
Fascinating stories, and we consider it our history.
Right.
Like we think that those wars actually happened
Right.
in our ancient past. That's very Graham Hancock kind
Yeah.
of a zone. And that's a field of research in itself.
Yeah.
So both the Ramayana and Mahabharata dictate a lot of our cultural values as a country.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be Hindu, but you'll still deeply be influenced by the Ramayana and Mahabharata in terms of thought.
Yes.
Okay, one's about righteousness and the other one's about warrior spirit. But these stories encapsulate these other 4 ancient books called the Vedas.
Okay.
And the 4 Vedas, loosely speaking, are what are the origin points of Hindu thought. One of the Vedas, I can't remember which one, talks about a modality of spiritual advancement where by serving beings that don't have the ability to speak for themselves, that counts as spiritual advancement.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what is trying to be conveyed to me, and it's very hard coming from traditional science and conservation, Western traditional science and conservation, to understand how to tie spirituality into wildlife and make everything thrive. But it's when I learn it and I begin to understand it, it makes so much sense because everything we do, I think, at least in the Western world, is on extremes. It's like, left or right, but conservative or liberal, Republican or Democrat, whatever it happens to be. It's extreme, right or wrong, black or white, whatever it happens to be. But this idea of spirituality and wildlife and serving animals and conservation, and the invasive lizard has just as much right to live and as much animal life value as a goldfish, as an elephant, is like, oh yeah, it does make sense. But you have to sort of see it and understand it to come. Is that making sense the way I'm describing it? Yeah, it's fascinating.
I think at this point in the podcast, people have kind of gotten to know your personality. You're one of the most spiritual people I've met in my life.
What?
Yeah.
Please explain. Because I don't consider myself spiritual.
There's a word in Hindi. The word is niyat. Okay? Niyat. So niyat loosely translates to your deepest form of intention. So every action is actually governed by intention. And then if you go deeper than what is beyond intention, you reach like inner intention, the intention of your soul. That's niyat. So where does your soul operate from? Which dictates your mind's thoughts, which dictate your actions in the world.
That's so fascinating.
So I've gotten to know you now. And that's why I said at the start of the episode, it's a privilege getting to know you.
Thank you.
Because you're one of the cleanest niyats I've ever seen in my life.
So what is my intention?
Your soul took birth to serve wildlife.
That's how I feel, but I've never known how to articulate that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, because in our culture, we believe in like the cycle of birth and death. So we feel like every life is governed by the purpose that you're supposed to live out.
It's so interesting.
Yeah. And usually the suffering that you encounter at the start of your life will shape you up better for your purpose.
Interesting.
And you're someone who's found your purpose pretty early. There's a reason you're born in your family in Zimbabwe, in Africa. Then you had to go to America to like reach out to the world.
Yeah.
So you're at that intersection.
We had lots of suffering too.
Yeah,
we left during turmoil. Yeah.
I'm aware of that. I know that you carry it with you because we've spoken about this once, I think over a dinner. And I know you don't voice it out, but like, I know you've not had a simple life.
No. Yeah.
So,
That's interesting.
Again, the Hindu take on this is that your soul had to go through that suffering to clean up your niyat even more.
How do more people understand that? I feel like if more, and I'm speaking for Western people because obviously Hindu people understand it already, but if more Western people understood that, they would feel more fulfilled with themselves if they could honor that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff we learn from the West, and there's stuff that the general West can learn from the general East. And that's always been the nature of the earth.
Yeah.
That the two cultures have exchanged information.
Sure.
So, for example, we know that what we can give the West is philosophy.
Yeah.
And like deeper spiritual thought.
Definitely.
But there's a lot that we can learn from the West. This podcast exists because I witnessed Joe Rogan grow his podcast.
Sure.
So that's an example of me. And I mean, bro, I'm like talking to you right now because, I've digested all of Joe Rogan's work.
Sure. Yeah.
And that it was a big reason that I went out of my way to even like come and spend time with you in Vanta.
Yeah. Well, it's an honor. Thank you.
The honor's ours, genuinely. But my point is, I think there needs to be more English speakers from the Eastern world to carry these messages out to the West.
That can reach the West as well. Yeah. You know what I find interesting though, because I always go back to science in some regard. If I get sick, cancer or something, I'm coming to India immediately.
Yeah? Why do you say that?
I think that you say that India and the East or the Oriental people and nation learn from the West. However, I think they take some things and they advance it even beyond their own understanding, meaning India. Let's take India for specifically. I think Indian medicine and health care, by the way, this might upset some people. Every good doctor in the United States is Indian. Everyone. Like, I'm sure there's some great Japanese and American and everything else, but everybody I know that goes to a doctor that's like, that's my doctor, he's my guy, he's fantastic, he's an Indian guy. Your healthcare, maybe not in general, but in Mumbai and Delhi and these places, I think is the best in the world.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is, if I'm not mistaken, most of that was learned by the West and their science and their medicine, but then you guys have elevated it over here. And I think we're still playing catch up in the West. So it's amazing that you take information and aspirations from the West and then advance it in some capacities. Yeah. We in the West, in my opinion, need to do the same from you in understanding that. Sorry, give me the name of it again.
Like the spiritual stuff?
Yeah, when it's your purpose.
Niyat.
I need to write that down. You're like, we need to learn that from you guys. I'm not saying we're going to advance it like you have medicine, but like, I've never heard that before. And I'm not the most educated person in the world, but quite well read and quite worldly. It's the first time I've ever heard it.
Yeah. I think it's also the power of languages. We have so many words in our language that explain very deep emotional concepts, but in like one word.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. It's also hard to grasp when you're not used to it.
Yeah.
Like, here's one word that means all these feelings and emotion. I guess like love would be an English equivalent. Everybody has love, but it's how do you explain love to a toddler? You know what I mean? It's very hard to understand. Yeah.